Geneva by Richard Armitage, published by Faber Books, and this is a novel that is set in and around Geneva, and it's also set in the Canton Vaud in Switzerland. This is the story of Sarah Collier, who is a lauded and very famous scientist, and she has been offered a Nobel Peace Prize, which she has accepted, but not in person because she's quite modest. She is married to Daniel, and Daniel is trying to get her to go and speak at a conference and endorse a specific product called Neurocell, and this is a tiny chip that is inserted into the back of your head, which would then control various neurological conditions, and it would be a huge advance, in the medical field. And Daniel really wants her to go, but there is one problem, because it seems to be that Sarah is developing the early stages, onset of Alzheimer's. Now, her father has Alzheimer's, and he is in the later stages, and he sometimes even doesn't recognise it. So as a family, they all have a sense of what harm this disease can cause on people as individuals and on a family setup. So Sarah and Daniel head off to Geneva. They're ensconced in the hotel, and a private helicopter comes to pick them up to take them to the Schiller Institute, which is the pioneering research station behind the implant, and it's set above Chateau d'Eau, which is around Lake Geneva. It's all very scenic, it's quite snowy, it's quite dark, there are blizzards, so it's very atmospheric and very cinematic. And there they meet the founder, who's an Austrian, and although Sarah has some reservations about it, she is struggling with her health, and so she just has to get on with the endorsement, despite the fact that she has reservations. So this is a nicely pitched, easy to read thriller. It perhaps gets a little bit chaotic at the end, but then this is a debut novelist, and I think a lot of authors often struggle to really convincingly pull the endings together. There are, however, a few problems with this novel, to wit, I think the publishing team got a little bit starstruck with the author, who obviously is a very well-known actor. And the Vaud in which this is set is francophone, so they speak French, but all the references, or pretty much all of the references in this book, are to German words and to German speakers. It doesn't make sense. And at one point, one of the characters is actually proffering euros to the taxi driver. Well, in Switzerland, you don't use euros, you use Swiss francs, and you only use euros under pre-arranged circumstances. It's a bit like coming to England saying, can I play in euros here? You just wouldn't do it. So I feel the research wasn't tight on this book, which is a shame, because obviously a lot of money has been spent on it. He's a charming presenter. He sells his book very, very well. And, there is a lot going for it. But I think the publishers perhaps didn't do the job they should have done. So if you are looking for an easy to read and quite gripping story that is set in Switzerland and has, all that sense of 007, lots of sparkly snow and blizzards and helicopters and fast cars, then Geneva by Richard Armitage is certainly one to consider picking up.